mute already. What's happening, everybody? It's the big guy KG, sitting in all alone. It don't happen often, but it's happening today. Welcome to the Sunday Rise. And this is presented to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. So I'm going to be your tour guide this Sunday. I'm going to get you through this. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So this is the old school days. If you were with us back in the day, you know that used to be shows like this. It used to be shows where it was just one sideline junkie and that was that. So let's get this thing started because we got a little bit of sad news to start off with, and not news that I really wanted, but Dave Parker has passed away. The Cobra. If you remember when we did our show, the baseball, but we did our show on the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I said Dave Parker has to get in. Dave Parker has to get in. Dave Parker has to get in. Batted .290 career average, 2,712 hits, 339 home runs, and 1,493 RBIs. Had some of the most clutch plays in the World Series. Played for the Pirates, the Reds, the A's, the Brewers, the Angels, and the Blue Jays. Won 2 World Series in 79 and 89. 7-time All-Star, which is 1978 NL MVP. 3-time Golden Glove winner. 3-time Silver Slugger winner. Won the batting title in 77 and 78 in the NL. He led NL RBIs in 85. In the Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame, as well as the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. He got in with an 87.5% vote. That right there. And when he got in, I was like, it's long overdue. He lived long enough to get inducted and see it. He was able to get his flowers while he could still smell them. Cause of death was Parkinson's disease. And it was a long, rough road. But Parkinson's ain't nothing to mess with, man. To see his decline like that just wasn't the greatest. But he was 74. He passed away 2 days ago. So what was that? That was a Friday. So rest in peace to the Cobra, man. I got a picture of him standing in front of his locker in Pittsburgh, and he got a shirt on. I call it one of the coolest shirts, and quite honestly, one of the most coolest and stone cold pics I've ever seen before. And it says, if you hear noise, ain't nobody but me and the boys. Bop it. Love that pic. I always love that pic. And I say, you can be cool, but you'll never be Dave Parker cool. I've said that for years, man. You'll never be Dave Parker cool. So rest in peace to the Cobra, man. If you don't know, also, Midnight Rider checking in on special assignment. Him, Jack, DJ on special assignment. They needed rest days. So that's why the guys are not here. They needed rest days. Damn, he not gonna make the sad ceremony. No, he not. And I was hoping he held on for it, but he's not. And it indeed is sad. Very much so sad. For those of you watching at home, at the bottom scrolling, click like and subscribe. Sideline you. We all available on the Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Out Radio. Subscribe, hashtag like on everything. Holla at us, man. That way you don't miss nothing. Another thing that we always got to bring up is June 29th. What was it? 42 years ago. Joe Delaney, great Kansas City Chiefs running back. It was actually 42 years ago today. He gave his life to save 3 kids. They were at an amusement park in Monroe, Louisiana, and the kids were swimming in like this pond park where you weren't supposed to swim. And 2 of the kids, and he couldn't swim, and he went out and he got 2 of them, and the third one was out. He went to go back and get the third one and get the third one. Gave his life to save some kids. And Joe Delaney will always be a hero in sports annals and in life. Joe Delaney will always be a sports hero, and his memory has to be kept alive. So, wanted to throw that out there. Now let's get on to some positive news. All-Star Weekend is coming up. Who would you like to see in the home run derby? Let me see what All-Star Weekend. ML All-Star, not even All-Star Weekend, All-Star events. MLB All-Star Game. When is it? When is it? I don't know, but they got the ballot out and everything. Who would you like in the home run derby? Midnight Rider said you were the first person I thought about when a reminder popped up. Yeah, because you know I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something about Joe Delaney, of course. Excuse me. Home run derby. I was looking at the home run standings. I was like, you gotta have Shohei there. You gotta have Judge there. But who else are you gonna put there? But Carl Raleigh from Seattle is leading MLB in home runs. He has 32. Shohei has 29. Aaron Judge 28. Eugenio Suarez has 25, and so does Kyle Schwarber, have 25. So those are the guys that you want to see popping up there. I'm a little choppy. I do apologize. I can't jump out and jump back in here. So I don't know what's going on. My internet is crazy, man. It don't act up until I go live, and that's the easy part. So hopefully you can hear me. Let me if I turn the camera off, maybe you can hear me a little bit better, and you don't the visual doesn't go away. So Midnight Rider checking in as usual. Help me out here. Events are 7:12 through 7:15. So, and home run derby is always the big thing. That's like the MLB's dunk contest, if you will. But you got to have your top 5 there. Let me look at the complete leaders. Who else could you have there? James Wood from the Nationals. Juan Soto's got to be there, and I'm just picking names off. Pete Alonso's got to be there. Ellie Dela Cruz got to be there. I'm just picking names here. Rafael Devers got to be there. You know, your big names got to be there. It's like having Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey, Sammy Sosa. You got to have those big names there. You got to have those guys there. But I would love to see Aaron Judge win this. I would love to see him win this. And not because I'm just an Aaron Judge fan, but Shohei is just a bad dude. So you got to watch out for Shohei, but I think he'll win it. If he's in it, he can win it. Kind of funny. I got bars this morning. I don't see anybody from the Orioles in the top 20. I would like to get Fernando Tatis out there, even though he only has 15. I like to get him out there. You know, get your names out there. Wow, Manny Machado. Anthony checking in. What's happening, Anthony? How you feeling this morning? Midnight Rider said, I don't want Wood in the event. Why is that, Midnight Rider? Why you don't want Wood in the event? I mean, he's in the top 10. Selfishly. He's number 6. He's tied for 6 with Suzuki right now. So I don't know, man. I would love to see. I just need a good home run derby. Period. That's what I need. I need a good home run derby. Just to get something going here. They got to bring back the luster of the All-Star game. Vlad Guerrero normally participates. Yeah, you got to have Vlad. Like I said, you got to have your names. You got to have your names. Anthony said, if you had the dream home run derby lineup, who would it be? Mine is Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, A-Rod, and Vladimir Guerrero Sr. Ooh. If I had a dream one, it would be Bonds. And I'm gonna say Bonds because I love Bonds' swing. Because he had this toe tap thing before he would swing. And I loved it. And are we talking what we've seen or what we want to see? Because I would love to see Bonds, Mickey Mantle. I would love to see Ruth, Josh Gibson, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Ken Griffey. That's just me. I'm gonna go deep into the books and old school. Midnight Rider said, I don't want anything to mess with his swing. Home run derby can do that. And this is the best of the All-Star. I get that. And Anthony says hypothetical. Yeah, hypothetically, yeah. If I had to choose and I could get anything I wanted, yeah. Those ones that I named, yes, sir. Most definitely. I just, hell, if you want to spice it up, bring back Griffey and Bonds and let's see them hit, because they can still hit. They all can still hit. Bring them back. I said that, I think last year we talked about that, if I'm not mistaken. Me and Midnight Rider Jack, we was like, bring the Legends back. Have a Legends thing, almost like a Cracker Jack old timer thing, but you had the Legends bracket, and then you have the Young Guns, and then whoever the top 2 is got to go head to head. But either way, the Young Guns got to face a legend. Really put you in perspective. Midnight Rider said Bonds, Griffey, Sosa, McGwire, both Vlads, Bryce Harper, and Juan Soto. Ooh. And he said, who's the craziest power hitter you've ever seen that was pure power hitter that you always expected him to do crazy power display, but like hitting it out of the stadium? Griffey and an older Bonds. Bonds had 2 different careers, but Griffey and the older Bonds, I felt was just like absolute beast, man. But Griffey, every time Griffey got a hit, I thought he was gonna knock that thing off the roof of the Kingdome. It was gonna hit the upper deck. It was just because that's what you were used to. And then when Bonds got a little bit older, you start seeing him knock it out in the McCovey Cove and stuff like that. Crazy hitter, man. McGwire was like that for a little bit. And I always wondered about McGwire's bats, because his bats looked, I mean, maybe because he was so big, but his bats looked smaller than everybody else's bat, but he had so much power behind it. Anthony said they always say Griffey wasn't really that type of power hitter. He couldn't hit for power, but he's not going to have that display. I'm talking about guys like Stanton or Judge and McGwire. Midnight Rider said Adam Dunn. They may say Griffey wasn't a power hitter, but I mean, to me, that's what he was. Because at any time, he was an anomaly. That's what they would call him. That's what they call him on MLB The Show. Griffey's an anomaly because he was a combination of power and speed, and he could get around the base path as a young cat, man. So he could really get it going. Anthony says, I think Mark was country strong. I understand he took steroids, but if you actually saw his forearms, they were massive. Yeah, they were. His arms were fucking huge, man. But I'm gonna disagree with you when you say he took steroids. No, he took a muscle supplement, which was Andro. Andro was not on the ban list. It was a muscle supplement, just like creatine. It was a supplement, and it wasn't on the ban list. They tested it, said it was okay. He passed every test. And then they put it on the ban list. When they put it on the ban list, he stopped taking it. He was at the end of his career then. I'll never believe that Mark McGwire took steroids. Not going to believe it, because he was really upfront about what he took. And he was like, he takes Andro. Andro wasn't a banned substance when he was taking it. I'm nope. That's my hill that I'm willing to down. Everybody got a sports hill that they willing to down. That's one that I'm willing to down. And Midnight Rider said Dunn wasn't hitting for average. Well, I liked Adam Dunn too. I really did. He just, when he swung, he looked like he was just trying to murder the ball, man. Hold on. Okay, I thought I had some news coming in. But Anthony says, is it Griffey like Bonds, where they had two different careers, where Bonds is more known as a power hitter later in his career, so was Griffey, and they were more known for average early on. Well, Griffey was known for power early. He was not a home run hitter early on. You know, he was a power hitter. He hit for average later on down the line. You know, but Bonds was a consistent hitter. Like, what was Bonds? Bonds had 3 MVPs before he left. What's the name? Before he left Pittsburgh. You know, I guess we could say that. And we forgot one guy, Albert Bell. Jeez. Albert Bell's the only guy that can hit for power but never have to swing the bat. Albert Bell was a scary dude. Albert Bell could scare the cover off a ball. Now, y'all tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Albert Bell could scare the cover off a ball. Remember when he got hit by the pitch and was supposed to take first base? He's like, nah, I'm a hit. He told the umpire he wasn't going to take first base. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, man. Nothing like that in my life. Albert Bell was a straight dog. Man. Next up, let me switch over to basketball real quick, because I thought this was an inspirational story, but I did some research here. And if you guys are familiar with Hansel and Manuel, that's the one-armed kid out of Austin Peay. They had a report out that he signed a 2-way contract with the Houston Rockets, but his agent said that was not true. So I was ready to say, hey, you know, this kid's NBA dream's going to come true. But it did not. And I still think he was one of the best players in the draft. I was kind of upset that nobody wants to give him a chance. And people say, well, he's going to be a liability. Well, if you watch his high school tapes, which he was dominating. He was dominant in high school. He's one of the best players in high school. Only thing is, he only had one arm. And I'm like, what are we doing here? In high school, he averaged 25 and 11. His senior year, he averaged 25 points, 11 rebounds, 6.9 assists, and 3.4 blocks per game, while winning a state title. Now, he was only rated a 3-star athlete coming out. and he did get an offer from Memphis, Tennessee State. But he committed to Northwestern State, but he wound up transferring and going to Austin Peay because he wasn't getting any PT. But I think the kid would do well if given a chance, you know? I really do think he would do well if given a chance, but nobody wants to give him a chance, man. Nobody wants to give him a chance. And Midnight Rider said I was just about to say that. Yeah, it was false. It was rumors. I got all hyped up because I think I sent it to the guys in the in the chat, and I was like, you know, really happy because I meant to mention him on Thursday as best left on the board because he's one of the best guys left on the board. So Anthony said, what is your opinion of a young Giancarlo Stanton's power and Giancarlo in Miami? Oh man, I wish he had that power in the Bronx. And I'm a Yankee fan. That's why I'm saying that. Like, my guy hits behind me on MLB The Show. He hits the cleanup, and I can get on base, but it's very seldom my guy brings me home, man. But I if we had the power that he had in Miami and in the Bronx, we'd be a lot better. But he was nasty in Miami, bro. Nasty. Coach Powell says most guys can only play with one hand anyway. The kid can play and deserves a chance. I agree with that, Coach. I agree. And what's crazy is they don't think that they think this is a handicap or a disability, but he can do it. And I'm just, God, man. I hope the best for him. I hope somebody picks him up. I hope he doesn't have to go overseas, but if he does go overseas, great. Because I think he'll carve out a good career. So, couple of things real quick in the comments. Midnight Rider coming through for me. LeBron exercises player option, comes back for season 23. At this point, if Midnight Rider was here, it makes sense. But what are we doing here? Like, I know we're not going to get 2016 LeBron. I think that was the last year that LeBron was truly great. It doesn't look like he's having fun playing basketball anymore. He doesn't play defense tough anymore. He doesn't hustle. You know, he's more interested in arguing with guys about not doing something because he loafed. When are we gonna get that? Just one season, final season, like a farewell season, and LeBron averages 28 a game, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. When we gonna get that? Because we can get it. It's possible. He's still playing at a high level, but he loafs sometimes. And I've never seen LeBron do that before. He loafs. So, just my thoughts. But what are we doing here? What's the point of coming back? You know, you said some things on the podcast, and you got people really upset at you because you said ring chasing became a culture. You started the ring chasing culture. You left Cleveland to go to Miami to do what? Win a ring. So, you know, LeBron got a lot of detractors, man. I'm still a LeBron fan. I still mess with him. I still love the guy, but geez, bro, you making it tough, man. It's getting harder and harder to defend you. Now you coming back for season 23. It's harder and harder to defend you. Midnight Rider says Shohei rules out participating in the home run derby. Guess it won't be as exciting, but okay. Anthony said, I think the reason why Giancarlo doesn't have the power in the Bronx because he's still in his head because after he got hit in the face when he was younger, he's hesitant. I never thought about that. Never thought about that. Man, he might need to talk to somebody about that. Get out your head because, you know, what they say, I think Yogi Berra said it. He said hitting is mental. It's 90% mental and 50% physical. So you know you got to get out of your head when you hit. So Tim said, with the help of that good stuff, Yankees and steroids. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. We just trying to play ball here. Come on, Tim. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anthony said, what's your opinion on Miami Heat drafting KJ at number 20? He's a point guard from Illinois. Don't know too much about him. I would have to get back to you on that on Tuesday. Let me do some research on the kid, and I'll get back to you on that on the Tuesday night flight. Let me, where's my pad at? Where's my pad? I don't know. Oh, here you go. Here's the pad. Number 20 draft pick. Let me write that down. I'll have an answer for you on Tuesday. That way I can do a little research. Midnight Rider says people forget Giancarlo was a safety prospect coming out of high school. Wow, for real. Really? Did not know that. And he says, when do you predict at the point that MLB decides to move the MLB draft to international to eliminate international free agency and the posting thing you see guys from Japan and Asia? I don't think they'll ever do that, because a lot of your influx of talent comes in internationally. I don't think they'll do that, because that international free agency, I don't think they'll change it. It's been like this, since the beginning of time, damn near. I don't think they'll change it. And Tim says to help Bronny because he's ass. Hold on, Tim. Hold on, Tim. Bronny James is a pretty damn good player, okay? He's a good player. And you got to remember, he went from playing high school ball, leading, what's that, Sierra Canyon? I think he led him to a state title. And he played 1 year at USC, but remember, he had the heart thing. So he was limited that 1 year. I think he should have stayed in college 2 more years, because he didn't get the experience. He didn't get to cut his chops against the next level of talent. Now you got him playing against grown men. Now everybody's not the same. Once my sons say, oh, I'm beating my friends, handily, I'm doing this to my friends and they can't stop me. All right, it's time for you to play with grown men. I immediately take them to go play with grown men. And I tell my boys, hey, don't take it easy on them. Yeah, they my kids, beat them up. And I make sure they play on the other team. They can't play on the team with me. And I want to see how you hold yourself. Xavier's turn is coming up. Dario's turn. I was telling him Friday night, I said, I tell his story like the man that caught a fish. It was the second time Dario got out there with my boys from work, and somebody had brung this cat and he was dunking all over the place. Dario chased him down and blocked this dunk, and it flew up into the 8th row and got stuck in the wall. Still a hole in the wall where Dario blocked the dunk at. I mean, that didn't really happen like that, but he blocked the dude's dunk, and I'm good with that. But Bronny is not, I say all that to say Bronny's not ass. The kid can play. He's going to come into his own. Not a great rookie year, but he's going to come into his own. And when he comes into his own, y'all can be like, damn, he really can play. He just got to find his niche. He's more of a, right now, he's in a Juan Dixon mode, meaning you don't really know where to play him, because he's naturally a 2 guard, but he's too small to play the 2 guard in the NBA. He has to play the 1, which is why he's working on his handles this summer. And I have his ass in summer league, getting it in. Like summer league training camp, I want you there. And this is why I really think that Phil Handy should still be in the Lakers organization to work with, because Phil Handy will have him right. Just my opinion. Midnight Riders talking about Giancarlo. Stanton said he was supposed to go to USC. You got to be pretty damn good to be a safety and go to USC. Damn. All right. Anthony said the reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of college and high school kids complain that these international kids from Latin American age get paid more than them. Well, think about it. Baseball is probably the only sport where an American kid can come out of high school. Well, they can get drafted in high school, sign a contract, and still go to college and still get paid their contract and not get any backlash over it. You know, and I'm not talking a couple thousand. No, I'm talking about millions of dollars. Now you talking about Latin American Asian kids getting paid more. And I would love to see what the wage disparity is to say that they're getting paid more, because you say that as a baseball player, but at one point in time, you were getting paid more than the basketball players and the football players coming out of high school. You know, baseball is where it's at. Now, if it goes to getting rid of the international draft and everything, it might mess up the money for everybody. They might throw new rules in there where nobody gets paid. So, you know, you got to be careful. Be careful what you ask for. And that's a damn good question, Anthony. We damn sure need to deep dive into that. And Anthony also said Bronny is overrated by some Lakers fans, to be honest. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm just a Bronny fan. I watched them all through high school. I think Bryce is better. Once Bryce hit that growth spurt, I think Bryce is better. But I'm just saying, that's just my thing. I just really think that he's going to be okay. Tim said, look at his high school numbers, because that shit doesn't scream All-American. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And Bronny should have stayed in college, had way too much development. I agree with Anthony on that one. Midnight Rider said they won't stop that. There's too much money involved. It allows the international players to have freedom picking their spot. Tim said he's only an NBA player in your own mind. No, man. If you can see certain guys carving out NBA careers, I can see Bronny carving out NBA career. That's what I'm gonna say. And while we talk about NBA, I got all y'all guys here. Please, please, please tell me y'all been keeping up with the Ace Bailey saga. Please tell me y'all been keeping up with this mess, man. Like, this cat, they say he thought it was like 2K. He could pick where he wanted to go and get drafted. Like, bro, are you serious? Now he finally arrived in Utah and everything, right? But his agent, Anthony, sit back, strap in for this one. Strap in for this one, brother. This cat, Ace Bailey, out of Rutgers, right? He didn't want to get drafted by the Jazz. Jazz drafted him anyway, so he was pissed. The other draft pick that they had got on a plane, went back to Utah, everything. He didn't show up. Now, Ace Bailey's agent, what's his name? Omar Cooper. He's another player's dad. And they say he's not even registered with the PA Association, Players Association, to be an agent in the NBA. But this dude was talking about getting paid to be on camera to do interviews. An agent getting paid to be on camera to do interviews. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So he's giving this kid some bad advice. He's not guiding him at all. And Colin Cowherd, I don't agree with Colin Cowherd much, but when I do, it's going to be something terrible. So expect some snow or something today. But I agree with Colin Cowherd. He said adults are failing this kid. I agree. How do you not know how the draft process works? Now, being a little bit older, I understand how the draft process works. I understand you got to work out teams. I've never thought about, oh, I don't want to go to this team. I don't want to go to that team. Look, if I get drafted, I'm happy. NIL deal or not, I got money, but I'm getting drafted where I'm going to get consistent money. I'm good. You saying you don't want these teams to draft, and it said before the draft, team in the top 5 told not to pick Bailey. You're a lottery pick, dude. What are you talking about? And him saying that, going to Utah, make the best of the situation, man. Like, this is something I said to Dario a long time ago. And it's something that I say about kids. When I'm recruiting a kid, if I'm a recruiter of a sports program, I don't want the kid that lives in the house with 7 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, 4-car garage. I don't want that kid. I want the kid that lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with their parents and 6 siblings and 1 bathroom. Because you know why? When things get hard, they're going to adapt and make it better. Those kids that already come from privilege don't always try to adapt. They want to run. They're going to call somebody to make it better. In a lot of instances, not all of them, but most of them. You know, you got a lot of players like the Ace Baileys that are coming into this league, and they are sons of former players, or they're connected to former players. They're AAU kids, so they've been spoiled and this, that, and the third. So they think they're supposed to get everything their way, and this is the way it's supposed to go. And nah, it don't work like that. None of this works like that. You telling the team not to draft you. I couldn't have been his agent. I would have smacked him in the back of his damn head. What's wrong with you, boy? You go make a name for yourself. You take the situation. Yeah, if you're getting drafted in the top 5, yeah, it may not be the best team. But guess what? You can make it better. They may be drafted in the top 5 this year, but hell, they may be 15 to 20 next year because you made them better. And they just keep getting better. Make yourself a staple, man. Hard work. I don't get it. I don't get it. Tim said, talking about Bronny, if his last name was Jones, nobody would give a shit. You might be right about that. Look, I ain't got no leg to stand on there. Midnight Rider said he doesn't have a traditional agent. Yeah, his agent's more about self than he is about the future of his client. Like, man, you know what? I think we should do it. Let's start a Sideline Junkies sports agency where we can guide these kids and we can get these contracts and stuff right. Because we gonna represent some dogs. We ain't gonna represent somebody, oh, don't draft me. Man, shut up. Just get drafted. Jeez. Anthony says the Ace Bailey situation is almost similar to feeling to what you saw with Shedeur Sanders, where he was trying to force his way out of certain teams. Well, hold on. With Shedeur being as high profile as he was, I didn't know who Ace Bailey was, honestly, until his draft. Shedeur, I knew who Shedeur was when he was coming out of high school because Deion's son. Get that. But when Deion said, I don't want my son to go to certain things, everybody flipped their shit. And I got Anthony, I got a couple. I got your other comment about the international draft too. I'll get to that. Give me a second. But everybody flipped their shit when he said that. But nobody said that when Eli told the Chargers not to draft him. Nobody cared. It's when you got high-profile players, former players' sons. This is what happened. This is what happens. And Ace Bailey, I don't know who this kid is. I mean, he's not as bad as the kid Julian Newman, who I remember he was playing for an AAU team, and everybody thought he was the shit. And I was like, this dude's a bum. Oh man, he's gonna be the next D1 prospect. The dude's a bum. And he keeps proving Julian Newman is a bum. That's it. Ace Bailey might get into this league and be a bum too. He may be out of the league and in the G League for the next 10 years. Who knows? But Midnight Rider said, I keep telling you these aren't fans of the sport, so they don't know how things work. How do you play a sport and not be a fan? And I remember, Midnight Rider, you said that before. You said these guys don't pay attention to basketball outside of playing the game. They don't go home and watch other teams. They don't go home and watch other players. They don't do anything. And I said, that's kind of crazy because, I'm a nostalgia guy. So when Magic said, when I got up in the morning, him and Larry used to check the paper and see what the other one did. That was their motivation, So it's crazy. But you can't, how are you not a fan of the sport that you play? Midnight Rider said it's why he needs a better agent. Yeah, he does. And I'm going to put it out there now. We ain't incorporated, but I'll find out the paperwork we need to file with the Players Associations. We about to start our own agency. We're going to start our own sports agency, and we're going to run this thing. We got a numbers guy. We got a guy that we got a workout guy. We got everything you need here at the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network Sports Agency. We got everything you need. Let's just look. We know what the numbers are. We're not gonna screw you over like Master P did Ricky Williams. We good. We're gonna make sure you get your money. We're gonna put you out there for endorsement. So we tell you straight up, hey, Rubbermaid called and want to give you $5 million to endorse these daggone Rubbermaid bowls. Just do it and get the money. Shut up. It's all about the money. Midnight Rider said this Ace Bailey saga shows you that the Rutgers program went 15-19 with him and Dylan Harper. And that's crazy. And Dylan Harper was your number 2 pick. Anthony said, I think that's why Sanders fell so far. I don't think these quarterback coaches wanted to deal with the helicopter parent and the Dion telling the coaches how to coach his son and develop him. I don't think you would have dealt with the helicopter parenting because even now, Dion's not in Cleveland. Dion's preparing his team in Colorado. He hasn't been in Cleveland, hasn't been cited in Cleveland, hasn't been reported in Cleveland during OTAs, rookie mini camp, nothing. And now we're in the height of training camp. Has not been reported in Cleveland because he got his own ship to run. He has something to do. So I don't think he would have got that. And Tim said it best. But Sanders can play, and he was fucked by the NFL. It was collusion. It was. I don't give a damn what anybody say. It was collusion because he should have been a first-round pick. He should have been a first-round pick, but they wanted to teach him a lesson, and they wanted to humble him. Back up in the passenger seat, said that's true and not true. There's a cap on the Latin kids. Anthony, we were talking about the international player draft in the MLB. There's a rookie weight scale out of the draft for top 10 picks in the MLB draft, and the top 10 gets between 5 and 11 million. And these international kids are getting paid 15 to 16 per year. Good God, really? Damn. You serious? God damn. Okay. Sheesh. Now that you just hit me to something, man. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't. And in the passenger seat, which is a show that airs right here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I didn't even know it was a scale. Where's my comment at? God dang on it. I didn't know there was a cap for Latin kids either. I didn't know none of that. Like y'all are getting me all the way together. Anthony said, to be honest, I think there's only a few agents that actually care about how their clients are treated. Drew Rosenhaus, Scott Boras, and athletes first. And if you got Drew Rosenhaus, Scott Boras, you're gonna get the bread. You're gonna get the bread. And Midnight Rider said, Anthony, that's not true. Which part's not true? I'm in my DMX phase. Extrapolate. And Anthony said he doesn't have to physically be there. He can actually do Zoom calls. But he's doing spring ball for his team in Colorado. If I'm not mistaken, Colorado's traveling. The football team is traveling around playing scrimmages against other schools. So they're an international pool for the Latin kids. So okay, so you have an American pool for the draft and an international pool to draft from. What else we got? I did that. Man, we ain't got much left on this list, but y'all are giving me life this morning. Well, this afternoon now. Y'all are giving me life. I just want to say that. It's been a long time since I've done this alone, and y'all are giving me life. Y'all are giving me hella life. Quickly, Wimbledon starts tomorrow, so if you want to get up, what's the first? Where's my Wimbledon tag? Wimbledon. The first match is at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you want to get up for Wimbledon tomorrow morning, make sure you get up at 6 a.m., please. Comments. You have a cap on the international kids. Anthony said, I'm focusing purely on the system, on the posting system you see for players out of Japan and Korea, not the Latin kids. Like, I didn't know that it was two different drafts. I thought you could draft who you wanted. You know, I thought that's what it was. You had scouts that went around and drafted these guys and, did what you wanted to do. If you say, hey, I'm gonna draft this kid out of Mexico because we sent the scout down there and he plays really well second base, great hitter and everything. So Midnight Rider said, well, the posting system is totally different. Please explain that. I would love you guys to explain the posting system for me. Please explain it to me like I'm a novice, because I am a novice. So please explain that to me. All right, here we go. For the posting system, you have to pay to even talk to the kid first. Then you negotiate the contract. These kids are from Japan and Korea. You got to pay to talk to the kid? Like, wow. Wow. And you get that's money up front. That's money up front. So you got to pay the kid. And I wonder what's the average that you pay the kid. Midnight Rider said the Japanese and Korean guys have played ball for several seasons. So they are they're pretty much already pros, right? But you have to pay because they already have contracts. So you got to pay. So you're not paying the player directly. Is that what I'm gathering from this? You're not paying the player directly. You got to pay whoever their contract is through to talk to them. Don't you still got to buy them out of their contract? Anthony says the reason why that happened is because these kids are professional playing in Japanese baseball league and Korean professional baseball. And Midnight Rider said that posting goes to the team, not the kid. Okay. So you really have to pay them. You got to pay the team to talk to them. Wow. Wow. Anthony said you're paying the team he's playing for for negotiation to even talk to the kid. So the kid's not getting the money up front. So you may be paying 15, 16 million dollars, but you really might not even be paying that to the kid. Part of that's probably going to the team so you can have a conversation. Am I getting that right? Please let me know if I'm getting that right. While we're working on that, let me throw this out there. Deontay Wilder got back in the ring for the first time in 2 years. He defeated Tyrell Herndon in the 7th round TKO, and nobody saw it. I didn't even know this cat was fighting, and I was like, when do we get here? When did we get here? Because I don't even know the last time I think he fought and got beat the last time. Let me find his record real quick. Yeah, he lost to Zhang, and that was back on June 1st. That was a year ago. June 1st, 2024 is when he lost to Zhang. Then he lost to Joseph Parker before that in 23. The two losses to Tyson Fury. And it's like he went from being probably one of the top heavyweights to not, you lose twice to Tyson Fury, you win one, you lose two, then you win one. So you've gotten 4 losses right now on your resume. And it's like, I didn't think he was gonna come back. I thought he retired for good, but obviously he didn't. Back to the baseball draft. Yeah, but let's be real. Why would Japan let its best players come here without compensation? And it allows Japan to hold on to talent and allows guys who want to come over here the option to play MLB like Ichiro. So that's deep. That's pretty deep. That's deep. We might have to do a show just on MLB rules, man. Because I don't know. I don't like y'all just pretty much hit me to stuff that I didn't even know. Like MLB draft, NHL draft confuses the hell out of me. I know more about the NFL draft and the NBA draft, of course, because those are my two main sports. But MLB draft, it confuses me because I'm like, you drafted a guy. All right, when is he coming in into AAA or something like that? And most of those guys don't come into AAA for a couple of years because they go to college. So it always gets me. And Tim said the ballparks in Japan are also smaller. Wow. So you'll have a guy that's a power hitter in Japan, but he may not be a power hitter in America. Well, now we come to one of my favorite parts of the show. What you eat. And since I'm sitting here, you guys in the comments, I want to see what you're eating in the comments. Gotta see it. Need it. Midnight Rider said there isn't this big market of 20 Japanese kids coming over every year. It's normally 1 to 3 guys being posted, and that isn't an annual event. Hey, let me write that down. We need to do MLB draft talk. Like, explain that. That's something to talk about because we are in the dog days of summer, and we need to really get into this because I would love to learn this. This is something I would love to learn, and I would love for Matty Ice to sit down and break down how the NHL draft works as well. So that's something we might have to do. We might have to do a collaboration show where we talk about just drafts across all the major sports. And Anthony, you're right, Anthony. We might have to get you on for a show. We might have to get your information, man, so we can get you on for a show and just sit down and just kick it, man. So if you can, if you're if you're on social media, smash that like on Sideline Junkies podcast. Well, matter of fact, join the group too, Sideline Junkies 24/7 on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram so we can link up. We got to do a show, man. We got to do something. Just come in and sit down. We chop it up for a little while. Just let me know, man. If you're not on social media, Sideline Junkies 247@gmail.com. You can email us and we can get together, man. Because you got a lot, and it'd be great to sit down and just rap with you. Awesome. Now I say this, we got to get Anthony and Sam on. We got a lot of people we need to get on just to sit around and chop it up. If we all live closer, it'd be cookout weather right here, man. Sitting around the good old grill, eating some good food. Everybody there. Speaking of eating, say what you eating today. We're having smothered chicken thighs, broccoli, fresh corn that I shucked myself. I sat on my balcony yesterday morning. I got up, I sat on my balcony, and I shucked 12 ears of corn. And never in my life had I been, let me rephrase that. I hadn't been that peaceful first thing in the morning out of the bed in a long time. It was no rush. I had my music playing, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just shucking corn, not saying a word. And it was just one of the most peaceful events that I had in a long time. And I really enjoyed it, man. Growing up the way that I grew up, I split time between different houses because, I was with my mom, my godmother, my grandmother, my grandparents, I should say. So being my grandparents and my godmother, you shuck corn. You shuck corn, stuff like that. And then after my grandfather passed, you damn sure we shucked a lot of corn. Me and my grandmother used to always do that, shuck corn. And just snap string beans with my godmother. It's like therapeutic to me. And I absolutely love it, man. It's beautiful. I sit down with my wife now and do it. But she was working yesterday morning, so I got the opportunity, to shuck my corn. So that was good. That was peaceful, man. And so she's gonna cook that up today. She think about throwing some ribs in the instant pot, letting those slow cook with the homemade barbecue sauce, just for a little razzle dazzle, But we might fry the thighs, might not smother them, might fry them, don't know. But we having chicken thighs either way. So Midnight Rider said he's making a chopped chicken sandwich with grilled onions and pepper jack cheese. Ooh, what kind of bread you using there, Midnight Rider? And last week, I didn't get a chance to tell you my 5 sandwiches. So let me take the time right now to tell you my 5 sandwiches. These are my 5 favorite sandwiches, and I'll say this in no particular order. Oh, you fancy, huh? He doing that on a brioche bun. Oh, you fancy, huh? My God. Gotta get you over to the Amish market in Annapolis and get you some chicken salad. And I want you to put that on a brioche bun. When I tell you love in a bun, that's love in a damn bun, my brother. I promise you. My top 5 favorite sandwiches. Number 1, all time, is a Jiffy's steak and cheese. And it's got to be done a certain way. Because when I was a kid, my mom would order a steak and cheese. She would order a whole, and then she would split that between me, her, and my sister. And, we got full off of that because there was so much stuff on it. But you got to get, the way I like mine, lettuce, tomatoes, extra mayonnaise, double fried onions, a couple of pickles, a little bit of hot peppers, whole. I've never gotten anything else from Jiffy's other than a steak and cheese. I've never gotten a cold cut, a pizza. I've never had anything from Jiffy's other than steak and cheese. Greatest steak and cheese I've ever had. Next up is, it's a place up in Cumberland, and they've moved up my list. It's a Italian restaurant called Dietri's, and they're up in Laval. It's right outside of Cumberland. So if you go up, what is that? 60, you go up 70 to 68, and you take 68 all the way up through the mountains. You'll see Laval and everything. You'll see downtown Cumberland and all that. You go to Laval, you go to D'Autry's, you get a cold cut, and they'll ask you, do you want everything on it? You tell them yes. Now, I'm not a Miracle Whip guy. They use Miracle Whip. Tell them you want mayonnaise instead. The first time I got this sandwich was so big. When I brought it home, I had to take some of the meat off to make another sandwich because it was so much meat on the sandwich. That's not a sandwich that you eat and drive. You have to be stationary to eat that sandwich because it's so big. The boss BJ can vouch for it because I brung him, his wife, his mom, I brung them some, and I brung home some to my family. And when I tell you, off the chain. That's D'Autry's in Laval, Maryland. Number 3, Roy Rogers Double R Burger. But the thing with the Double R, you have to, and I stress this, you have to go inside of the Roy Rogers and you have to eat it there because you got to hit the fixers bar. You got to put your own lettuce and tomatoes on there, your ketchup, your mustard, your Roy's barbecue sauce, which is probably one of the best barbecue sauces that I've ever had. And you got to put the horseradish sauce on top of that too. And then you got to get the whole thing of pickles and take the pickles and dip the pickles in the horseradish and then put them on your sandwich. Greatest sandwich you ever had in your life if you make it that way. In my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't speak for everybody else. 4th, God, I can't remember the name. It was a place in West Virginia. And the guy, he makes the Reubens in front of you. He makes all your sandwiches in front of you. And he made a Reuben. I came in there. He was like, people come from all over the world to come in here. You know, he probably true. He was like, but you ordered the most basic thing on this menu. He said, when you come back, I want you to open that menu up and order something off the middle of that menu. When I just got a Reuben because I'm a big fan of Reubens, and it's I got to remember it. If I can remember it, I got the menu around in the car or something like that. When I tell you the Reuben was the best Reuben I've ever had, it was the best Reuben I've ever had in my life. And it was cooked to perfection. And Jack said it a couple of weeks ago. He said, when you got a Reuben, it's all about the bread and how fresh the sauerkraut is. When I tell you the sauerkraut was fresh, it had a pop to it when I bit into it. Fresh sauerkraut. Wasn't sitting around, was fresh. Absolutely, positively love it. Right? Oh my God. I got to remember the name of it, but it was the Reuben from this place in West Virginia. Number 5 is a tie. Because one place, it no longer exists. The other place is open, but I don't think the same guy owns it, up by Holy Cross Hospital. And it was a place in Bladensburg called the 7 Market. Now, let me tell you about the Forest Glen Deli. I went in there one day after working and, working hard, Helen Hunt Motors, delivering cars. I went in there to grab just a cold cut sandwich, some chips. And it's handmade. It's not already made. He makes it to perfection right then and there. It was a guy that made it right then and there. And I got it. I have been looking for a cold cut sandwich, and just a sandwich place. This is before I found D'Autry's. I had been looking for a place to get me a cold cut from because I love cold cut sandwiches. And he made a sub, and the sub was like, for a 8-inch, it was like $5 and some change. One of the best subs I've ever had. Now, I got to put that below the 7 Market. The 7 Market was right at this where 202 and 450 meet. It used to be a red building right there. And I used to go in there and pay my electric bill, cash my check, because that was a place I can cash my check. Now, mind you, we're talking 2006. from 2006 back, because I was living on that side then. And this is the only place I could go to cash my check, and they only charged me 1%. And if you from Maryland, DC, going to the liquor store to cash your check, they're gonna charge you 3%, 5%, 7%. I used to go in there, and on my way to work, I was working for Pepsi, the Pepsi plant right there in Chevrolet. And I would go in there and get me 2 cold cut sandwiches. And it was a lady in there. She would make my sandwich. I don't know what she sprinkled on my sandwich, but it was always good. I don't know if she sprinkled love, crack, whatever, but it kept me coming back for more. And the sandwiches wasn't no bigger than maybe 6 inches, but they were affordable. And then you got, I would get hot fries. I'd go to work, eat one, work, and then I got the other one for lunch, and I get a bag of chips and a soda. So I was good. That right there, at that time, I hadn't had a cold cut sandwich that good in years. There's another place that was in Bladensburg on 450. They tore it down. But I used to go back when I moved from that side of town to the Capitol Heights, District Heights, Suitland side. I would still go back to the 7 Market to cash my check and get me a sandwich. And one time I went to go cash my check and everything was boarded up. And I was like, what the hell happened? And I don't know what happened. This is before, social media was booming. And I found out that the Friday night before I went there on the Wednesday night before I went there on a Friday morning because I worked that night. And I went there to cash my check that Friday. And found out a girl went in there and tried to rob Papa son. And he gave her the money. And she shot him and tried to burn the place down. So, no more 7 Market. And his sister had got killed in there maybe about 10 years prior while they were working. And he stayed open. So, sad story, but that was like when I tell you that dude cared about the community. If he saw that you normally come in there with one check, right? From one job, and you got another check from another job. You got a new job? He waived the 1% fee, give you your whole entire check back. He didn't give you your whole check back. He waived that because you got a new job. That shows. Congratulations. Like, you don't find many people like that, man. I truly miss the guy. I do. I miss him. I miss his wife. The lady that used to work in there. I miss them all, man. I don't know what happened to everybody else, but one of the best cold cut sandwiches you ever had in your life. And Tim said, smothered chicken and onions, gravy, rice, and corn on the cob. Ooh, speaking of corn on the cob, that corn I was telling y'all I shucked, Shoppers got them 12 for $5. I'm older, baby. I'm going to tell you all the deals at. So it's about that time. We wrap that shit up, B. I just want to tell everybody, man, thank you, everybody that's been in the comments. Tim, Midnight Rider, Anthony, in the passenger seat. If that's you, Jack, hope you're feeling better. Who else? Am I missing anybody? Coach Devon. Make sure I'm just scrolling through, make sure I'm not missing anybody. But everybody that was in the comments, thank you. Everybody that tuned in and watched and joined for a little bit, even if you didn't comment, appreciate you being here. I said this before, I'll say it again. This is what we used to do. We used to be an audio only podcast, and I'd be live on audio, and Midnight Rider would jump in them comments, man, and have my back. And we did it. It's just like old times, ain't it, Midnight Rider? So that's how we got started. We were doing that during the pandemic before we moved over to video. So this right here felt good. And I guess turning my camera off made it feel better, because since I did that, the internet ain't acted up. How about that? So tomorrow, you have, starting at 5 o'clock, you got Drive Time with Matty Ice. Coming up at 7, you got your second episode of Pretenders or Contenders with the coach, Devon Powell. And if I'm not mistaken, at 8, you should have a special edition of In the Passenger Seat with the gentleman Jack Carr and his backseat driver, the Midnight Rider. So again, we does this here. We does this podcasting thing here at the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. We does the damn thing. And if you haven't already, join the group Sideline Junkies 24/7 at gmail.com. Make sure you join up. The conversation goes on in there. It goes down in there. And we love it. We love you guys. We appreciate everything you do. We appreciate you for your likes, your comments, subscribing, and tell your friends about us. Because guess what? Something that I learned from a gentleman named Charles Turner. He told me, he said, word of mouth travels to those that can't read. So use that word of mouth and let them know about the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. Because we doing big things over here. And as the gentleman Jack say, we everywhere, baby. So with that being said, I'm the big guy KG. And I really did it this time. We don't do no overtime, baby. We are out of